High Point 911, where is your emergency?
Fire on the way.
My name is Tyler Hilton. I'm a master telecommunicator here at High Point 911. On average, we answer approximately 300-400 calls a day in here. But the interesting thing about this job is you never know what's going to happen.
We dive right in from the beginning. We're answering calls, we're dispatching police, we're dispatching fire.
We get anything from car accidents to break-ins to there's somebody standing outside my house looking in my windows.
It could be a, hey, I lost my dog, hey, where did my car get towed to? Or it could be like, hey, I've been shot, I need help.
You do a lot of different things at one time. You answer the phone, you're put in the computer system, you're remembering to ask all the certain questions that you have to ask and then get it over to our dispatch channel. We get to think freely for ourselves. We don't have to read the questions on a screen, what we have to ask. We get to freely think with per call class, which I really enjoy.
It's exciting, it's busy. And we rotate around the room, so you're not sitting in the same seat for 12 hours a day. Depending on how many people are in the room, you're switching channels, you're switching roles.
We always come into this room and we know that we have a job to do, but we never know what we're gonna get. And I think that's part of the fun part. I worked a Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and I hated it. I was bored. I didn't want to do any more paperwork. I was 105% over it. The day that they laid me off, I thought it was the worst day of my life, and it was the greatest blessing that I ended up coming back to emergency services and I landed here. I actually waited a full 12 months to come to High Point. I knew I wanted High Point. I had sat at other centers. I had worked with other dispatch centers on the truck, and I knew that I wanted High Point.
One fun fact about High Point is the fact that we are in 4 different counties. We're in mainly Guilford, and then we're also in Randolph and Davidson and Forsyth. So that we have to remember that each time we take an EMS call to get them to the proper EMS agency.
One thing that sets High Point apart from other agencies is that we don't work for the police department, we don't work for the fire department, we don't work for emergency services. We actually work for the Department of Information Technology. So we are considered IT professionals, and so that gives us a lot of extra tools and resources to help our community. We have a lot of great technology here that really helps us do our job and help the community as best we possibly can. This career, I would say, has definitely impacted me personally, and I think both positively and negatively. Negatively in the fact that you work long hours, you are away from your family for 12 hours out of a day, and so that can be a little taxing at times. So on the flip side, the people that you come to work with, you get to know very well, and they kind of become a second family to your own, and that actually ends up becoming its own reward in of itself.
Like I spend more time with some of the people in this room than I do my own spouse or family. So like these people become your family. We'll go to the gym together, we work together, we eat meals together. Someone has a baby, we're gonna make sure you have everything you need. If there's a death in the family, we're gonna make sure that you can be where you need to be. I don't ever feel like having to be here is a punishment. Like these people carry me through some of the worst and best times of my life, so I love them.
We're like a family. We take care of each other. These people became my family when I walked in the door. We definitely take care of each other. When one hurts, we all hurt.
I came into 911 telecommunications straight out of college. I didn't have any really real world experience, and this job forces you to dive right in to the good, bad, and the ugly, and it gave me a lot of perspective. It helped me grow up. It helped me learn to appreciate what other people do, what people go through. I could always put myself in other people's shoes, but this job really forces you to put yourself in people's shoes on their worst day. And that's a hard place to be because you feel like you're going through it with them. So it's helped me learn to compartmentalize, how to ask for help, how to give help. I think ultimately it's just made me a better person.
At the end of the day, when you know that you've had a part sending people the help that they need to kind of correct all those issues and help them through those situations. It does bring you satisfaction knowing that you had a part in helping them.
I had a little boy one time that I think he was about 8 years old, and he was walking home from school. He was at one of the north side schools, and he was supposed to wait for his sister, and he left without her, and he got lost, and he called 911. And I asked him, I said, tell me where you are and read the street signs. And I said, you stand right there on that corner and don't move. I've got an officer coming to help you, and you stay on the phone with me. And the little boy started crying because he thought his mom was going to be mad at him for getting lost. And the whole time I'm like, your mom's not going to be mad. Your mom's going to be happy that you thought to call 911 to get help. And when the officer found him, they drove him home because he couldn't remember his address. He was so upset. And the first thing the mom did was run out and hug him. And he told his mom that if it hadn't been for the 911 operator, he wouldn't have known what to do, and he probably would have gotten even more lost.
Like car crashes and building fires or stuff, unfortunately, we deal with those pretty regularly, and it becomes something where I know the steps to take to get people help the correct way. But it's those things where you get to make a little part in somebody's day that could have been a little bit harder and you made it a little bit easier. That, I don't know, that sticks with me more than anything.
There was a gentleman who was feeling suicidal, and he told me he was going to light himself on fire. And I could hear, he had a can of gasoline, and you could hear it sloshing in the background. And he had terminal cancer, and he didn't feel like any of his family was there for him. And we have very short response times in High Point, but 4 or 5 minutes can feel like forever. So you're just talking to him and hoping that he doesn't make that decision, and just keeping him on the line. And he ended up not doing that, and officers got to him in time, but it just stuck with me. And there's probably been a bajillion calls like that, but just that one stuck with me.
When somebody needs help, say they call us, they just need somebody to talk to. They're having a really bad day. They maybe have some things going through their minds that aren't the best. We can be that voice that helps guide them through that situation. If you have a relative or something that needs some type of medical need or anything of that nature, we're that link to get them medical assistance on it. If there's a fire, we're again that link to get them the fire department. And just like if there's a crime that's taking place, we are the critical link to get them police service. So at the end of the day, we are what holds together all of public safety.
Someone should be a 911 operator if they have a heart for service. If you feel like you're either called or driven or just have a passion for wanting to help others and you don't know how, come sit with us. Come visit. Come see what we do. Come see how we operate. Honestly, we get to change lives every day, even if we do it from behind a keyboard. There are times where we can do really small things, and there are times where we get to do really big things. But at the end of the day, you've always made a difference in someone's life when you leave your shift.
If your main focus is just making sure that you have a heart to help somebody, that you want to make a difference, your heart's in the right place.
The most rewarding thing about working as a 911 telecommunicator in general is helping people. Is just you just really get satisfied by that. But in High Point specifically, I wouldn't say it's a small town, but it is. While we have a lot of people, it feels like a small community. You get to know the businesses. You get to know the people you talk to. We talk to the same people quite often. You build relationships with them. You want to check on them when they haven't called for a while. You start to worry about people, and I like that as compared to a bigger city where I may never talk to the same person twice, which could be a good thing, but I like knowing and keeping track of the people that we're serving and making sure that they're okay.
I feel like if somebody wants to serve their community, if they truly want to help people, if they want a job that's fulfilling, not just for a paycheck or something of that nature, but they want to come in here and make a difference in the community, I feel like this is definitely a good step for them to take on that. I feel like the catalyst of change is in here. The catalyst of having a better tomorrow. It all starts and finishes in this room.
High High Point 911. Where is your